Hello. The league setup area is where you're going to put in some very basic information about your league. Let's take a look at how to do this. Okay, here we are at the FSG Predictor, and on the Input tab in the top left-hand section is the league setup. What you want to do is anything in green is an option for user input. So for the league setup, we want to enter the number of teams. So if I have 10, I'd put 10. If I have 12, I'll type in 12. You can see that underneath that, the total starters and number drafted get adjusted. That's based on your total number of starters and the total number of players being drafted here. Then you want to decide if I'm going to make the rookie adjustment or not. So the rookie adjustment is in play anytime that your weighting projections span previous years. You can get into that when you look at the weighting projections demo video. I'd recommend that if you are going to use previous years for your weighting, that you do have this rookie adjustment. That way the rookies won't be unfairly diminished. Then we look at defense type. You have three options. You can use a defensive team, individual defensive players, or both a defense and individual defensive players. So set that to whatever your league is. Then we have tiering. Tiering is a color coding that it gets applied to the player pages. We typically see that players will clump themselves into groups. And if there's 5 players in the same grouping, and in this case, we look at the number of tiering points. So if there's 5 players within 20 points of each other, it's really a crapshoot on which one's going to do better. And so whether you pick the one that's at the top of that tiering group or the bottom, they're essentially going to be all the same at this point in time. So go ahead and decide if you want to do tiering or not. If you set it to no, then there won't be any color coding on any of the players. Finally, you have tiering points. Typically set it at 20. If you have very generic rules or very low scoring games, then you might want to set this to be lower, somewhere down in the 10 range. If you have a lot of high scoring, so low scoring would be anything under 100. High scoring would be anything over, say, 150 to over 200. If you're somewhere in that 100 to 150 range, 20 is going to be about where you want to be. If it's under 100, you want to put it at 10. And if you're going to be over 200, you're probably going to want to put this at about 30. All right, good luck.